Hey everybody, welcome back to another After Effects CS6 tutorial. I'm your host, Buddy Blackford, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the flowchart view in After Effects CS6. So what I'm talking about here is when you come into your composition, there's this button right here called the composition flowchart. And I'm showing this to you now because when we have a couple extra pre-comps and everything like that in our section or within our main comp, I can show it to you a little bit better. So if you click on that, it'll bring you to the composition flowchart here. Now I admit that the composition flowchart is pretty much a mess and I don't use it that often. You can see your different layers and how they are related to other layers. So we've got our teardrop file here, which was our Illustrator file, and I was able to create a few a few layers from that Illustrator file called black right, black left, and brown drop. And there's also our text here, and all that is compiled within this pre-comp I made called original logo, as you can see here. I'm going to go back to the flowchart actually. Now we can close these within our flowchart here to make it a little bit nicer looking. But then everything goes to crap and gets all messy again. We have a few options that we can help to clean this up, and they're located down here. We've got show footage, show solids, and show layers. Now if we uncheck some of these, we can get rid of some of the nonsense, if you think it's nonsense, to like lessen up what's going on. Now we've got all these layers here which are pretty much the same thing as what we have, but they're just the number of the layer. So we've got our background here, which was that picture, and then it has the layer name right after it. So in case like I wanted to change the layer name of this to Sunny BG, now it has the background name, or the background original image name, and then the new layer name. So now it's called Sunny BG. So we can turn those off if we don't need them, and it actually helps clear up a lot. So now we can open these up. Now we don't have to see our layers anymore. And one thing that it does do though, however, is gets rid of like shape layer names and everything like that. So I mean, it's got its advantages and disadvantages there. I'm going to turn them back on. And we got our shape layers here now. We can see our layers of lights and our camera layer, and when we turn those off we cannot see them. So we can hide things like this. We've got our arrows showing the different flow that goes into this, and we can change the flow that we have here by clicking on this arrow and changing the flow direction. So we can go bottom to top, we can go left to right, and you see sometimes when you do this they overlap each other. It's like kind of weird, but you can't zoom out, which is kind of annoying too. You have to like you have to zoom around. We can change it we can just change it all different ways there. Then we've got our straight and curved lines going on here, and if this is a little confusing for you, we can change it to straight lines, and it'll be a lot more nicer looking, and our lines will be a little bit nicer looking and more straightforward, I guess. So we got those, and then you can obviously move things around by clicking on them and dragging on them and organizing them the way you want. I've had a client before tell me that he wanted the composition flowchart nice and neat, so I had to come in here one time and arrange everything so it looked nice within the composition flowchart, so the person that was using this next could use it also. So it's just good to know in case you ever have to come in here and use the composition flowchart. Now if you click on a layer and if you click on a layer and press F3, it's supposed to bring up the effect and where it is for you. In CS6 you can just click on the layer and it'll bring up the effect in the effects controls panel now. Also, if you right click in an open space, you get all these different options here. We got cleanup, which brings everything into a nice looking section, or a nice looking area there. So use cleanup when you really need to. We got our different, we can show our effects that are on layers, so we can see our fast blur, fill, and this makes it a lot more usable. And then we've got our different justifies here. So if we go to justify center, everything will be like pretty decently cleaned up and everything like that. So this is just pretty much for someone to come in and look to see how your logos, how your pre-comps and everything are all set up and how they interact with each other and what's in what really quick. And I would only mess with this if you're actually asked to do it, and pretty much just you don't really need to worry about it too much. So that's all I'm going to talk about for this, and thanks for watching this one. And I don't know, not much to say about the comp flowchart. It's not super awesome, and it's not super crappy. So just use it if you need it. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.